Hello, and welcome to The Silent Why. I'm Claire, and I'm back with another Graveyard Musings episode. I'm the host of the podcast, editor of the podcast, blog writer, social media manager, and Herman maker. Yes, you can check out thehermancompany.com for more on those little grief buddies. But if you're new to us, this is a podcast that's exploring all kinds of loss and grief, and whether it's possible for us to find hope in any kind of grief we might face. Now, for you faithful followers who have been around for a while, or for those of you that love to start a new podcast with episode 1, you might remember that I have done a few episodes over the years called Graveyard Musings. This is because I'm a great lover of graveyards. I love being in them, and one day I want to be permanently in one. I thoroughly enjoy wandering around, reading the names and the dates on the headstones and piecing together the stories of the people that are there to be remembered. They just fascinate me. So while I was doing this at our local graveyard a few years ago, I thought, why not record some of my thoughts and make them into a podcast episode? Or episodes, which I did in a 3-part series. Then a while later, I took Graveyard Musings on the road and we went international. And I did an extended episode from Belgium when I visited the world's largest cemetery for Commonwealth soldiers, Tynecott. Then I did another one the following year with Chris in a different graveyard in Belgium, Morsled. And then I did one in Wales at
Graveyard Tolkien.
I need my Welsh podcast guest to pronounce that one for me. And now I'm back again with Chris, and we have some impromptu chat that we did for you from a graveyard that we stopped at in Oxford recently. Because there was one very famous, important grave there that I really wanted to see. Yes, Wolvercote Cemetery in Oxford has the grave of JRR Tolkien and his wife. As you'll hopefully be aware, if not, where have you been? Tolkien is the author of the Lord of the Rings books. In fact, Oxford also has another famous grave that I've seen before but didn't do a Graveyard Musings for, and that's C.S. Lewis. So 2 really big, amazing authors and heroes of writing, really, are in the Oxford area. And Chris and I visited this one on our way home from Oxford just to pop in, and we just couldn't resist recording some of our thoughts as we were looking at his grave but also wandering around the other graves that were there. So, we really hope you enjoy our musings as Chris and I wander around this cemetery in Oxford. Okay, so I haven't done a Graveyard Musings for a while.
This is extra special.
It is. But we were driving past almost literally a graveyard that contains a very, very famous man, and we were like, we have to stop and go and see this grave. And then when we got here, we were like, we have to stop and record something. So, we are in Oxford, in Oxfordshire, in England. We're in... I've forgotten the name of Wolvercote, the cemetery.
Or Wolvercote, not sure how you pronounce it.
I don't know, I've only just learnt that. Wolvercote Cemetery. And we are standing in front of the grave of JRR Tolkien. So,
fairly obvious by the paraphernalia that's been left at the grave.
It is. I will post some photos of this as well. But it's a fairly standard grave compared to all the others. I mean, it's not the grandest by a long way, but it's clearly something that people visit and have left memorabilia. There's an actual copy of Lord of the Rings paperback.
From a distance, it stands out because the rest of the graves are surrounded by grass. And this is surrounded by just trampled earth.
That is true,
where grass once was, but it's clearly very heavily visited, and the grass has been worn away to just relieve brown dirt and mud. That's
a good spot. I hadn't really twigged that. There's some beautiful hellebores and mini daffodils that have been planted in the actual grave. It's got a stone, there's a headstone that's made of like your classic kind of bumpy looking stone, and then it's got like the outline of, I guess, the size of a coffin that comes up, and then there's a bit that's like recessed down. I don't know if I can describe that very well. The flowers are planted in the bit that's kind of recessed down, and that's where people are leaving all the memorabilia.
Come look at this.
Oh, look! Is that a little golem? It's a Lego golem, and he's holding a ring. Oh, I'll get a photo of that as well in a minute. It's also one of those coins that you put in the trolleys.
A trolley token. Well, there is quite a few coins.
There's a lot of coins.
Yeah,
10 pesos,
5p. Pence. There's a coin here. There's a trolley token.
There's a 20 pence p. I don't know if that's like a 20 pence p. 20 pence. I don't know if that's like a thing in some countries where you leave coins on a grave. That's not a traditionally British thing.
2p.
But then we've also got quotes. So somebody has left a piece of paper that says, even the smallest person can change the course of the future, which I assume is relating to Frodo and not Tolkien himself.
Well, how small was Tolkien?
I don't know. There's a letter that starts, Dear Professor Tolkien, which I've taken a photo of. It says, I'm writing to simply express my appreciation towards all the influence your works have on me. Forgive me if there happens to be some syntactic error. English is not my first language. You are, however, one of the biggest reasons I am fluent in this foreign language and that I am studying linguistics now. Yes, I'm studying linguistics in University of Toronto and I'm particularly interested in semantics and phonetics. The above is a bit off topic, haha. Ever since I got introduced to The Hobbits at the age of 7, the movies, spare me, the Middle Earth has been a spiritual homeland of mine. From Voltnor to Gondolin of the First Age all the way to Rivendell and the Shire, the world and the beautiful languages you created have been such an incredible place for me to roam around and take a break when I'm tired of the reality for forever. I feel exhausted from time to time nowadays due to my own mentality as well as the whole mortal is currently facing, or the whole world is currently facing. Your hope remains, as you're always telling us and the world through your works. The world is ahead and your works are always the source of my energy for the journey. And then there's some language I can't understand.
Okay.
A sincere Chinese fan, Nora.
Ah,
how sweet.
A letter from Nora. I've noticed as well that even in the plants that have grown out, there's a plant here that's quite bare, but on the small branches...
Oh, there's a ring.
Yeah, there's a gold ring.
It's a gold ring.
Oh,
you can't have that, that's not yours.
It's not plastic. Is it plastic?
Yeah, probably. Coated anyway.
But it looks like it has the inscription of the ring
does.
on the outside from the films.
There's also a stone that says someone's written on in a marker pen, yet hope remains while all the company is true, Galadriel. There's also a little what looks like a Santa. I'm not sure what that is.
More coins.
People have brought wrapped flowers and just placed them here. And we should mention that the gravestone, it's got like a little cross at the top. And then the first thing is not his name, actually. It's Edith Mary Tolkien. Luthien? 1889 to 1971. And then underneath, John Ronald Rule Tolkien, Berrin, 1892 to 1973. So his wife was buried here 2 years before him. And in true British honour, it's starting to rain.
Quick!
But I've got to take photos.
Stand under the trail pass. Just need to shelter.
Oh dear, you didn't bring your coat.
And the wind's just whipped up as well.
That's a big mistake in England.
Bring a coat.
I do have to mention there are some incredible graves here, like I have never seen.
Look at that one.
I know.
Up Joyce.
There's a man. There's a sketch of a. So the whole granite tombstone is about 2-3 times the width of a normal one. It's got cloud shape around it.
That's the size of a king-size bed. The entire thing. And
on the back is an illustration of a man who looks like he's holding his finger up. I'm not sure which finger. It says Up Joyce. And underneath, in gold letters, King of the Black Hill. And there's another bench just opposite it with the same design that I think also had Joyce written on it.
Right, and the same kind of flowers. I mean, around that grave there,
the flowers
there's 5 or 4 statues that are about... I mean, this is a modern grave. Yeah, the statues are 2 foot high. There's 4 of them.
There's a young person.
That's a really interesting.
The flowers
grave.
are artificial and are very bright, very unnatural looking blue. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 arrangements of those. There's one over here as well, I noticed, with bright yellow flowers. I mean, they're like a highlighter kind of yellow, and that's a massive.
What
grave.
culture
I'll
would
get photos
is that like a gypsy culture?
Well, I was
thing?
just starting to think there's a cultural thing here because those ones that are bigger with all the artificial flowers, I mean, they stand out as being quite different, but they are similar.
Someone's tacked to a tree nearby a banner that says "Rest in peace, our Anthony." There's a couple of dates. 87, maybe that's his birth year. 87,
yeah, to
2020. Died age 33. There's some colour pictures on this banner. One of them looks like there's some sort of vision of Jesus standing in between 2 pictures of the same guy, and that's near the bench. So maybe there's a lot of effort that's gone into remembering this particular character who died 33 years old.
It's a real mix, isn't it? It feels like this graveyard had lots of old graves that were quite far apart, and they've put new ones in between. It's very busy. It's a very full graveyard. There's I can see a section over in the far corner with lots of windmill type colourful rainbow windmill things that are spinning and balloons, and I reckon that must be the children's section.
I am troubled
There's a lot
at the
going on
moment
over there.
because I left the washing out at home.
Oh, for Pete's sake. We're trying to do something deep and meaningful here, something that will resonate with the listeners.
We're about an hour from home, so hopefully it's dry there.
It won't do you any harm to get your washing wet. It comes out of the washing machine wet, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, but then you hang it out to dry.
True. There aren't any, I haven't seen any amazing names yet. Like when we were with that one in Wales, there was loads of names that we were trying to pronounce, and this feels quite normal. I'm next to Margaret May.
This one here looks like Xenon.
That's true, that does look a bit different.
Zenon, and then a space, and then PA something. PAZUS? Pazos?
This one's sad. Margaret Mary Tilbury died at 14 years old, but also what looks like her mother, who only died like 15 years later. So I don't know what that was. That's a sad little situation. There's a lot of couples, as you'd normally expect. There's one over here that says, in memory of Peter, in inverted commas, Joseph E. O'Brien Eklund, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. And then it just says, also, Julia.
And I'm here also.
She has no other names. There's a date, but that's it. It's like...
Funny that Joseph O'Brien Eklund, it's like, oh, just call me Peter.
Call me Peter.
Of course.
Poor Julia. She deserved a bit more than that, at least her last name.
We've got a lovely little stand there of metal.
Oh, look. It's not quite as organised as the Belgium
cans.
Graveyard Musings we did, where they were all properly attached and you could take them off and put them back again. But there is a nice little stand for that. And it's daffodil time of year. So there are any grave that's got daffodils growing on it, they're growing now in full bloom. So that's really nice, because you look around, there's like these big splodges of yellow, which I quite like. Now it's starting, I'm just going to go and have a look at this highlighter one.
Good. Is there any, I don't want to think in weeks' time you're like, oh, I wish I'd used that opportunity by Tolkien's grave to repeat my favourite line from The Lord of the Rings. Are there any like...
I don't think there are. There was a lovely bit, which I've used on the podcast social media before, that Gandalf says to Frodo at the point when he's about to give up. And there's a lovely, and I can't remember any of it right now. I know when I watched the film last time, I was like, I love that line.
I'm trying to think of something meaningful, but all I can hear is, what was his name? What's the creature?
Sorry, I'm dazzled by this grave we're next to.
Gollum. Where he just, he's insulting Samwise. He just goes, fat hobbits.
Yeah, that's not the most memorable.
Right. Yes, bright yellow, highlighter yellow,
wow.
Artificial flowers on this. This says Joyce as well. It's the same family, isn't it? That family, yes. That one over there says
it's the surname,
Joyce.
And the bench says Joyce. It's a surname. Okay.
It must be a gypsy community grave.
I will take a photo of this. I cannot even begin to describe how much is going on this grave. I mean, the headstone itself, like we said, is about the width of a king bed. It's got a massive heart for the husband and the wife, and over the top of that is what I think is an angel with the arms stretched out and wings over the top of the hearts. Then we've got statues of, I don't know if they're men or women. I think one of each, because she's got a head covering. So I think one of each. They must be 2.5 feet tall, and then it's all set on this massive base of like marble, and then we've got 2 more hearts and a giant book, all made out of marble.
You don't see words like this very much. So the dad, in inverted commas, is called Christy Joyce. Died in 2020. That's the same year as the young chap over there, 2020. And it says, dear husband, father, grandfather, great and great-great-grandfather.
That's impressive. You will just have husband, just to give
friend,
you some context.
And friend.
I can't go that far with the rest of it.
Wow.
That is incredible.
Christy Joyce was a husband, a father, grandfather, great and great-great-grandfather.
This is what I love about graveyards. They tell stories. Like already we're like, okay, he died the same year as the 33-year-old over there. There's a story there. Something's happened. I think it's fascinating. I mean, you think, look at all the people in this graveyard. All of these people have lived and died completely different lives.
There's Irish clover on this grave. So this must be an Irish, this must be a gypsy or a traveller community.
I will get a photo.
With that sort of colour. Some poems on the back I've not heard before. O little Therese of the child Jesus, please pick for me a rose from the heavenly garden and send it to me as a message of love. Please help me to always believe as you did in God's great love for me, so that I may imitate your little way each day. some words there
Wow.
about the Blessed Mother of God and Saint Anthony, maybe Catholic.
What I'm wondering is just, and I probably shouldn't be, but what does that cost?
Another Joyce one there.
Yes. What's that one there? There's another big one. Is that Joyce? I can only see the back of it, but there's lots of hearts and angels again.
There must be on the outskirts of Oxfordshire somewhere, or Oxford, a community. Yeah, Annie Joyce.
I really don't want anyone to come along and see me taking photos of these graves.
This one's got quite a few Christmas decorations on it. A bit strange.
It has. Maybe that's where that rogue Christmas toy came from on Tolkien's grave.
Yeah, any more Joyces?
Yeah, here.
Winnie Joyce, but that's a Winnie Joyce over there as well.
This is a daughter. She looks younger in the photo.
Ah, so mum was Winnie, daughter was Winnie.
2006. She doesn't look very old there. Age 46, yeah, so that she wasn't very old. Oh, that's all just for one. But there is a gap. I can see there's another heart there, which hasn't been filled in yet, so I assume there's a... Oh, look at that. That's unusual. There's a hand that's got the whole... Like if Jesus'
Last
disciples
Supper
inside
sort
it.
of picture within. Sculpted, is it in marble? Very elaborate.
Let's have a look at this one over here that we could see.
Very decorated.
There's always something in each graveyard that captures you as being a bit different than others. In Belgium we had the amazing organised watering can system. In Wales it was just fun to try and pronounce all the names and see the connections. And this one, apart from the fact it's got Tolkien, definitely going to be for these massive graves.
So yeah, 2020. He died in the same year as the dad.
Yeah. And there's another heart again here that's empty, suggesting that there's more people that will go into this. These graves look like they're big enough for like 3 or 4 people, but I have no idea how you would bury someone under this weight of marble. Because you'd have to oh no, look, there's a crease down the middle. Maybe you can just lift out a section somehow.
Yes, I mean there's 3 hearts at the back on looks like the headboard of this king-size bed. Really thick headboard in a sense, and on the left there's a heart that says in loving memory of Anthony Joshua Joyce, and on the right the heart is empty, blank. So the right heart must be waiting for somebody, a partner maybe, or somebody else for their...
And this bench behind us is the same for the same guy, as well as the banner on the tree. They're all the same man. What's his name?
Anthony. Anthony Joyce.
And there's a poem inscribed in gold on the bench.
More of the sort of clover.
And then underneath there's
image.
2, what are they?
Birds?
Birds that look like
Doves?
they're eating off the floor.
Pigeons?
Well, it looks like they've got their face stuck in something. It's a very strange sort of position for a bird to be in.
I'm right by the banner now, and there's the image of Jesus in between the 2 pictures of the same guy with what looks like lots of rainbow colours bursting out of his heart. That's
Oh yeah.
a particular taste, isn't it?
He is a little scary looking.
No comment.
That's a cool surname.
Diliberto.
Oh, there's another Diliberto there.
Andrine and Jonathan Diliberto.
Wow. What I want to know is what this place looked like when Tolkien was buried, because so many of these graves are new. It must have been really quiet. I think his parents are here as well. I think I heard them say Tolkien's parents are somewhere.
This Bimal Kumar Pradhan died in 2022. A life of curiosity, teaching and learning from West Bengal to Oxford.
Oh.
I wonder how many Oxford professors and
Oh yeah, you want to be in here, wouldn't you?
scholars
Buried near Tolkien.
are buried in this graveyard.
We have been to, many years ago, not too far away from here, is the graveyard where C.S. Lewis is buried. And we've been there previously to see his. That's very different. It's a much smaller little sort of churchyard sort of burial. This is a much, much bigger plot, a lot busier, very different from the 2. But they were obviously together in Oxford for quite a while.
So we're going to end by the grave of Tolkien.
You can't see any other Tolkiens, can you? Can't see any other surnames. No. You're right about the grave, though, being all muddy round it. It's very, very well worn. I mean, there's nobody here at the moment in the graveyard at all. It's completely empty.
Trod.
For like a Saturday afternoon, It's not like this is somewhere that's, you've got to fight your way to get to. It's just pretty empty.
Have you remembered a sort of memorable, meaningful quote from
I could read this bookmark.
one of the
I don't know what it says.
Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Someone's placed a wooden bookmark on his grave. It says, "There flowered a white tree, and that was for Gondor. But 7 stars were about it, and the stars flamed in the sunlight, for they were wrought of gems by Arwen, daughter of Elrond." Wasn't quite the sort of thing I thought it was going to be. I'm sure people who love Lord of the Rings love that.
And I'll quote Gimli with Aragorn when they're in battle outside Helm's Deep.
I know what you're going to say. It's not going to be even slightly appropriate.
Toss me! Well, until you think of something more meaningful to say.
Well, I can read that. If you want me to read it, I can read what Gandalf says.
Okay, you look for something more meaningful while you're doing that. This is the Silent Way podcast. Find out more on thesilentway.com about who we are. And, as we'd like to finish with a quote of some of our episodes, you've now found, haven't you, the one you're looking for? Okay. So something more meaningful and more appropriate to end this unexpected but rather lovely Graveyard Musings.
Yeah, this is from the Fellowship of the Ring, and it's when Frodo really wants to give up on the mission that he's on, and he's talking to Gandalf. And Frodo says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us."